So I thought I'd go ahead and share a little bit about what I'm doing here in Fort Worth, Texas. My wife has a conference, and basically, I like to get out and check out the different local neighborhoods, and just started walking in a neighborhood near the resort and just checking out the various scenes and seeing what the houses look like. I find it always interesting to see the architecture and the neighborhoods in different cities. And this one is a little suburb of Fort Worth, Texas. And I see a lot of small existing ranches blended in with some probably what was tear down communities and or tear down houses, and they've built bigger homes here. So right now I'm walking by some guys leaf blowing, and I thought it was interesting. Earlier, I had seen a sign that said, please use quiet blowers. So maybe if we pass that again, I'll share that with you. If not, I got a picture of it and I'll show you. It was kind of funny. But right now, it seems that there's lawnmowers and leaf blowers going. And this is definitely one of those communities where you have a lot of older established homes. I love the different style houses because you're not seeing the typical cookie cutter house. So really it's the cookie cutter repeatable style that just kind of looks the same over and over again that you see in a lot of the cluster home communities from the national builders. But right now I'm just seeing a lot of different architecture, different styles. Nothing's repeatable, and that I really do like. I'm not a big fan of a neighborhood where you have, the homes that just all look the same, all the same color. Here you got the established trees, you've got various house colors. The texturing is different from brick to stucco to siding, and various roof elevations, um, different shingling types. I see your asphalt shingle, I see clay shingles, probably have passed some slate, but yeah, overall it's a nice neighborhood to walk in. I'm going to do this for a little bit and see what's around here, and maybe if I can, show you some of these houses without being, too suspicious related to those who I'm passing by. I don't want to be called out as to, hey, why are you filming my house? But so I'm just gonna walk this neighborhood. And this is where the sign is, where I had seen please use quiet leaf blowers. So let's walk past that sign and I'll show you that. But maybe if you're able to see in the background some of the houses that I'm walking by. Like here's one right now that certainly looks a little different, and I would say that kind of in my mind looks very Texas. I don't know, to me it looks Texas. Anything that you're seeing with kind of your different type of shingling. We don't use a lot of the terracotta roof shingles or clay shingles, but then I see where you've got kind of this stone look on a wall, and that looks pretty cool. A few people passing here. We got this nice little intersection. Got this nice tree over here, but you can see there's definitely some different looks about the community, and this is probably one of those neighborhoods that is pricey because you have a lot of people. Here's the good neighbor sign. So I thought that was kind of funny. I'm gonna cross over this street here and go this way. You can see a nice home here on the corner. think there's another one up the street that looks like a teardown. And when I looked on it on Zillow, the picture looked like it was still under construction, but it's kind of got a pretty cool look. It's got some cedar shingles with what appears to be a wooden cedar shingle roof. Got a pretty cool sloping roof right there, and that does not seem very Fort Worth, Texas style. That reminds me much more of a New England style home where you've got cedar. It's probably a painted or stained cedar. It has probably the cedar shingles that are left to patina and turn gray. And I think I'm gonna go ahead and turn down this street. I think this is the Monticello neighborhood. I'm gonna just call it Monticello. And let's cross this street. I didn't go down this street earlier. I kind of just passed it and see what looks like we've got ahead here. The interesting thing is, so many of the neighborhoods that I go through in our area, you've got construction site after construction site, renovation after renovation. And I don't see anything right now, but let's see what we've got here. Maybe I do see a lot that's being cleared, and it looks like there is a Blue Cypress design build. So I'll have to look them up. It says available, so it looks like they've cleared a lot, and looks like it's going to be a little infill. It was probably a teardown. My understanding is that many of these trees in the Texas area, depending on the neighborhood you're in, are fairly protected. But we'll see what Blue Cypress design build is all about. And now, again, this is kind of that transition where we've probably got 1,000 square foot homes, probably in the 1940s, 50s, or 60s built, and they will probably eventually be torn down and purchased with a very small lot, and then build something that is probably not period correct for the neighborhood. And you'll see a lot of that going on within these neighborhoods. So this appears to just be the Fort Worth Monticello neighborhood, and I'm just going to enjoy the rest of what I've got on my walk. This is another detail that I've seen a lot, where you kind of put siding in between the windows and make it look like a high detail. It looks like definitely a newer home, and we've got a newer home over here. I'm going to cross over here and take a look. Here's probably another lot that could be built on. I got a entrance, no home, so probably somebody owns that lot and hasn't built it yet. This looks like a nicer, probably a newer home here. Just looking at the windows, and that corner lot looks pretty new. And I think all of this now where I'm coming into is probably all been torn down and rebuilt, because these definitely look like very similar homes. Now this is where I start to kind of fall out of favor on liking the neighborhood, especially when a builder comes in and will just repeat the same house after house after house with slight variation. So not a big fan of what I'm seeing right now, but I think that house across the way looks pretty cool. Just got a nice old brick front porch, and oh, here's another modern one. This looks like it's probably back into a commercial district where there's some offices or something. Yeah, this is definitely going to transition very quickly from the neighborhood we were in. I only crossed the street because of the sprinkler. I didn't want to get wet, but now we are looking at some type of steel contractor. This is a Definitely a modern building. And I think this is going to be the end of my neighborhood walk. So I think if I would have gone the other way, looked like there were some multi-million-dollar homes for, 1 to 2 million is what I saw on Zillow. There's a country club back there. So maybe I'll pick this back up after lunch, but I think I'm going to go over to Terry Black's barbecue and have some lunch and do a little computer work. And in the meantime, get some stuff done while I've got a few distractions on my plate here in Fort Worth. I think I'm going to actually bounce back into this Monticello neighborhood. I said I was going to head up to Terry Black's barbecue, but right now I have spotted this kind of old rock wall and some various artwork on a lawn, and I'm just going back one street over from what was more commercial, and now I'm going to walk up this street because this looks like a duplex here, and then looks like we've got some yard art. So somebody probably either owns that property, filled it in, and doesn't plan to build on it. And these are little bungalow style homes, and I kind of like this rock wall detail. This is pretty cool. We've got the rock fence is pretty cool. I like that. So it looks like there's some welded wire and they filled it with stone, and that is a pretty cool detail. I don't know if I would do that at my house, but I think it is something that could be done. That's a little bit more unique. I'd like to go back and look at that a little bit more closely. So looks like a lot of these houses are duplex across the street. Those are pretty cool houses too. One's for sale. Let's see how much this one for sale is. They pull up from Zillow. Let's take a look at this where we are. Is it listed? A lot of times I have this. All right, it is. It's not showing. Let's see if I can. Yeah. It's probably 700,000-800,000. I see a value on there for 782,000, but it did not come up on Zillow really easily, so I'm just going to keep moving along. Yeah, this is definitely a little bit more infills over here. I don't even know if they're infills. I think they're just unique bungalows, and here's some infills. These are your typical ones across the street, just again looking like some builder just threw something up. I like this one, 3405. They've got a gated front entrance, a little brick detail. They've got some SDL windows. Yeah, that would look really cool if it had a different roof though. I think if they were shingled. Here's another duplex here. Now these two are more duplexes. High-end duplexes, I'm sure. But they're probably, oh yeah, they look like the same thing behind. So these were probably all torn down and rebuilt, adding a little bit more. They're not back that far, so they're probably not that big. Interesting, but again, I look for a little privacy in my houses that I'd like. Here's one that probably needs a lot of updating. And then, yeah, a lot of the signs are for lease, not too many for sale. It seems like this entire side of the street and the other side are all rebuilt and duplexes. I mean, a large majority of them anyway. All right, now we got a guy doing some yard work over here. Looks like he is grinding a stump over there. Ideal Garage Solutions is doing a floor coating on the back of one of these houses here. I think this is probably, I wonder if this is a single family home here. It very well could be. It could be a big house right there. I really like they've got the welded wire for their fence. Pretty cool look. I'm gonna turn here. Yeah, I think this is it's a big house right there. That goes back pretty far. Yeah. So you could probably see how deep they go back. Those are some big houses, but now we're back to a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 townhouses, I'd call it. Another duplex, or I think they call them here. They don't call them townhouses. And we were talking with our friend, and he basically was mentioning that they were a duplex, but what we figure as a duplex is just two houses together. Not really a townhouse setting. So each area calls something a little bit different. Got a little view of downtown Fort Worth. And now this house is really interesting. This one looks like it has caved in over here. I'm not even sure if you could see that on the camera, but the way the architecture is, the bricks are going up and down, and that is giving it a illusion that maybe it's caved in, but I think that's just how it was done back then. We're so used to straight lines, on our brick mortar joints, but occasionally you'll get something that is a little bit more creative in the sense of design. But if you look at this, is really like a random design. That's interesting, and not my style, but again, interesting. So, but yeah, I'm really kind of surprised that we're not seeing a ton of renovation and remodeling work. I saw a couple things going on, but not tons of it. Saw one house for sale, a bunch of for lease signs, and overall, not a lot of construction going on in this neighborhood. So I'm not sure why. Is that a sign of what's coming in the renovation and remodeling space? I think there's supposed to be a strong remodeling year, but not sure if people are hitting the brakes, or maybe you can't have a lot of signs out in this neighborhood. We did see the one for the new build, but that was just an available lot. Nothing was going on at this point in time. So now I think I'm going to make my way for lunch at Terry Black's barbecue. So I've got a little bit of a walk. I might even deviate or take a little detour. I see a Ferguson Home store up here, and may stop in there and see if they have different selections that we're used to in our area. But that's what I've got on this walking tour. Hopefully you enjoyed it, and I'll try and post some other interesting stuff as I travel and get back to some of my own projects. So talk to you next time.